What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Black and Mild, formerly the Black and Gold, the unofficial home of your 7-7-2 Boston Bruins. This is HiBruiNation. I am joined tonight with Higgy up in the trees. We are sadly missing our other co-host in Matt Vogel, who is taking the night off. So, Higgy, how are we doing?
We are not doing well. Cam. How about yourself?
It was another midweek, just
Yeah.
sad depression. I don't even know what to think about it. I mean, we got a 3 out of a possible 6 points. So I guess okay. I mean, if we're shooting for 50%, we'd be pretty mild, as the name would suggest. So we could be doing a lot better. I think.
It's just everything's just so meh. In the wins, they're meh. In the losses, they're meh. It's like, man. And it's like it's hard to get up for it when the players themselves aren't getting up for it.
So we had 3 games this past week. Toronto was on Tuesday. The Flames came to town on Thursday, and the Senators came to town, last night, which was Saturday. So we had 2 home games, and the one against Toronto. I anticipated the Toronto game was going to be a rough one, and so obviously Saturday was Ullmark's return, which was awesome. I actually did really enjoy seeing him back at the Garden, just not in an opposite jersey.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that guy. Kind of sad the way it had to go, but I mean, it made sense. You can't really spend
it was a business decision
on goalies.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate business decision. He understood it. Jeremy understood it. Everyone understood it. And, there didn't seem to be any bad blood between them. I guess in warm-ups, they were all, happy to see each other, which is good. And, that's what you hope to see. At the end of the day, they're guys, too, just like us, right?
It's been kind of a bummer. It seems like he's been struggling to get out of the gate with them as well. I think him and Swayman got similar save percentages going on at this point in the season, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it's as much Ullmark's fault as much as I also don't think it's Swayman's fault.
You're playing
it's definitely the teams that are in front of them, which is a shame because for Ottawa for a long time they should have been up and coming, but they just can't seem to put it together. Before we get started on the weekly recap, there was some news supposedly. So I saw this on Twitter, and I don't know how true this is, but apparently David Pastrnak posted a Facebook paragraph that basically said that he was experiencing an injury over the summer that was kind of nagging him, and he's all healed up now, but it was more of like a mental readiness for him as he approached the start of the season, and how he's kind of using the games now to kind of get back on track. Not exactly a good forum where we would want to hear something like that, assuming it's truth and assuming what that person posted was true. I didn't have the time to kind of check it, but I just thought it was interesting that we could kind of mention here if that was the case.
Yeah, that's my main takeaway too, is the news is the news, and that's fine. That makes sense, but it's also not a great indicator that your assistant captain, premier offensive player, feels the need to go on social media and sort of make excuses for where he's at, whether you want to interpret it that way or not. But that's kind of the way it comes across, and you're kind of just like, oh no.
Yeah, not just your breakout.
That's what we're doing.
Not just one of your breakout players, but he's an alternate captain. I mean, you can't.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is your leadership.
Yeah. Own your poor play, and if you're injured, the guys probably know it, so there's no need to kind of justify that down to anybody else. I don't think the fans are going to get sick of Pastrnak. I just think they're going to get sick of the way the team is playing as a whole.
Yeah, and in the same week where you have your captain making comments about the way that the coach goes about his business as well.
Yeah.
After the Calgary game, making reference to the fact that Montgomery changes lines too frequently for there to be chemistry building, if you were to read between the lines of sort of what he was saying.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and we'll get into that. So let's get into the week, and we'll kind of breeze by at least the first one. Before the Toronto game, the Bruins had 2 strong games. I think it was their 2 best games out of the year, in against the Philadelphia Flyers, and we covered this last week too. And the Seattle Kraken. We talked about how much they improved. I know you were away. Welcome back, by the way. I hope your vacation was good. But Vogel and I had talked about it, and we said this was the biggest improvement that we've seen out of those teams over the course of 2 games. They were back to back. They were both early-ish games. The Flyers game was a 1 p.m. matinee, which we historically struggled with, and then the Kraken game was a 5 p.m. game. And those were just 2, I would say, more clinical games for Boston. They played their game, And then I don't know how you follow that performance up with the performance that they did in Toronto. Getting shut up.
I'm going to attribute it to me coming back. They didn't want me to find any joy. They knew that I was back in town and would be able to actually watch the game. So they were like, we got to go back to the same old. No, but yeah, I wasn't able to follow anything while we were away. I didn't have any internet at all, which was kind of a bummer because from you and Vogel's reports, it did sound like things were actually back on the right track, and I was kind of excited going into Toronto, given the fact that we've sort of had their number in the regular season as of late as well. So it was like, okay, prime spot. Austin Matthews is out. Should
Lost
be ready.
Opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. And especially the first period, if not evenly matched, they may have looked like the better team. Mm-hmm. So as we've seen so many times this season, they come out, they look decent, they have a good first period, and then the wheels fall off.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too because I'm glad you noticed that as well. I thought the first period looked like it was going to be the start of a good game. It was going to be a division rivalry game. It was going to be kind of what you expected to see. It might have been low scoring, it could have gone either way. It depends on who opened the floodgates. Well, second period, like you said, the Bruins just did not match the intensity. And
worse than that, they shot themselves in the foot. Two quick power play goals they gave up because, again, there's no discipline on this team somehow, some way. And then that's all it took. See you later.
Exactly. And that was one thing that kind of bothered me. And again, and the biggest problem with that is too, it's like, it's missing out on the opportunities that are provided to you. You're out Austin Matthews, and it goes back to when Florida was out Barkov and Matt Tkachuk, and you couldn't capitalize on that. You're missing they missed two players. And then Toronto and Austin Matthews isn't having a great start to the season, I don't think, but still you got to respect the guy and his talent level, and you got to capitalize on stuff like that. And then you looked like a fool in my eyes on the second period on. It was just not good. It was not a quality game.
Foolish is a good way to put it. Especially, it's like as soon as they started the penalty stuff, it's just like any win they had in themselves was gone. It was like there's no momentum. It's like after that second power play goal, I don't know about you, I was kind of just like that's game. Like they don't have it. It doesn't look like there's any fight left. There's nothing there. And I certainly on my bingo card did not have Anthony Stolarz turning into a Vezina contender this year. I don't know where this dude's come from.
Made that guy look. We made that guy look like a freaking Vezina candidate, dude. And that's what pissed me off.
He's weirdly been excellent. So I don't know if your boys in Philly are regretting that.
He's a good goaltender. Like a lot of people. Well, no, he's a good goaltender. I think like Stolarz might have been a really good steal for them. I think he's a good goaltender. He's going to back up Joseph Woll very well.
Who also can't stay healthy anyway.
Yeah, so I mean, that was a really good pickup. That was a really, really good pickup for Toronto. I'm going to give him a ton of credit. So he's been good for them. I didn't think he was going to be that good against a team that was, basically coming out and firing shots on him, but he did a good job.
Yeah,
and he kind of stood out there. But I agree with you on the penalties because you can't score if your big guys are in the penalty box, right?
Yep.
If Pasternak's in the box, can't score. Can't score from the sin bin. Can't score if you're constantly a man down. Bruins still continue to lead the league. Now they actually lead the league in both categories in total penalty minutes and penalties taken. And they are still first in the league with penalties 4. So you lead the league in all 3 of those categories, but your power play is shit, your PK is mid, and I just don't know how else to describe this. If I'm Swayman and Korpisalo, I'm bashing my head off the goalposts, just wondering why can't you just back me up?
Power play is going at a 12.5% clip right now. They are tied for 31st,
which is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Love that percentage.
How bad that is.
It's awesome. It gets me so excited that watching that team on the power play is just watching a whole bunch of people who are allergic to shooting the puck unless you're David Pastrnak.
We are better off playing at even strength.
I think we're better off playing a man down. I think we have more short-handed goals than we do power play goals, and I think we have one.
We should petition the league and have it be like football where you can like decline penalties.
Exactly. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Do you want this guy in the box? No, we're good. We're good.
No, please
We're
don't.
playing them a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah.
They give up, and on the penalties, on the power plays too. If you look at how often, especially in the Toronto game, and this will be a quick tangent, then we'll touch upon Calgary. But how many odd man rushes they are giving up on the power play?
Terrifying.
Like, and people are
it's
turning their heads and saying, "Oh, Korpisalo's not playing well. He's not tracking the puck well. Jeremy Swayman's not having a good start to the year." Well, I mean, it doesn't help that the fact that their team, the team is giving up odd man rushes, and the guy who's back defending is likely a forward, and he can't take away the passing lane, so Swayman or Korpisalo has to play both. So half the time, a goal is going to be scored. Not all the time, but half the time, I would say a goal is going to be scored on that. So that's just frustrating, and that happened a lot. It's actually been happening a lot all season. But Toronto was what it was. I actually had them losing that game. I fully anticipated it because it's in Toronto. That's always a tough game for us in Toronto, despite the season records and how they've been going so far for us against them. It's always a tough game when you're away on a division rivalry. Ask Montreal. The Flames.
What are your thoughts on the? Well, one quick thing: the Toronto in-rink DJ.
Oh my God, he's terrible.
So bad.
I don't know.
I can't stand listening.
Yeah, I don't know who gave him that job, but they should take it away.
It's like, am I in 2012?
Yeah, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. 2012 had some bangers, dude. Like, they had some good music, but I don't know. Having Panama as your goal song, I'm in between of loving that and hating that, and I don't know why that is a goal song.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird to me. You got to get some stadium chants. You got to do something. No, I can't stand it. I can't. It bothers me. Next thing you know, they're going to start singing Katy Perry and Justin Bieber's going to be there because, he owns the Leafs too. I can't believe it. Whatever.
Yeah, we can get to Calgary now. Yeah.
We'll get. You just enjoyed that side bit.
Yeah.
Calgary. I don't know if I want to. They almost blew it. They almost effing blew it. They had a 2-goal lead in the third period.
And even worse than that. So like, this is like, you can talk the numbers all you want with this team, but it's like the eye test. It's like for the first 2 periods, you owned them. It was like the first time it was actually enjoyable to watch for a while. It was like they're getting momentum. It seems like they're clicking. It seems like they're carrying pressure. Like that was probably one of the highest offensive pressure games we've seen so far. And then it's like you're almost just like waiting for the other shoe to drop. So it's like they get that goal, or is it late in the second? Or whenever they got the Kadri goal, and it was just like, uh-oh. And then it was like you're like holding on for dear life.
Yeah, I liked the way they came out to play, and again, the first 2 periods against a team that they should beat in the Calgary Flames, because they're pretenders, and in my eyes, like, they're not going to be good for a little while, and that's fine. Like, I think Calgary Flames fans have accepted that fate, but you want to know what? Again, the Boston Bruins come out in the third period flat, and then they end up making the other team look like they are contenders. Like, then they make, Wolf look good, and it goes into overtime, and sure, we get the win in overtime off of, like, a strong effort from Marchand. And I believe it was Lindholm who passed the puck to him, like, open.
Yeah, I think that I love that. Yeah. That play from Lindholm, I think, was like one of my favorite singular efforts that we've seen so far. Losing the draw, then chasing down, I think it was Rasmus Anderson behind the net. So he knew he was like, I fucked up, should have won the draw. Hounds the guy, chases him down, forces the turnover, gets the puck out front to Marchand. So it was like that. That was like at least a redeemer where you got to end a shaky second half of the game on a good note. But yeah, it's like it never should have got there.
No, it shouldn't have. And I mean, the Bruins, when the goals that they scored before that were pretty damn good.
Yeah, like, they played a great game and then just fell apart. Like they keep doing.
Like Wolf came out of way out of his net. I think it was the Lindholm goal that scored it, and he basically slid way too far. It was like playing NHL 24 as a goaltender, and you just move like your joystick to like a little too too harshly, and then you're on the opposite side of the ice. If that's the way it looked, I said, "Oh my God, it's going to be a good game. The Bruins are going to look like they're going to be dominant."
The Hampus one to open.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fantastic cross ice pass from Pasta. and then an excellent move by Lindholm because I'm sure he's expecting him to just fire it because he's like, oh, you got a defenseman on the boards down low. It's like he's just going to try and rip it. It was a great move, and I was like, oh, here we go.
Yep. He actually Hampus Lindholm is starting to grow on me a lot more. He's starting to find it. He's starting to find it again, man. And I'm not saying like I need him to be this offensive juggernaut. I don't. He's a defenseman. But I mean, his IQ seems to be coming back. He seems to be getting into the rhythm, and I think he's starting to step up a little bit more. I mean, where you kind of need him to be. His pinching has been smart. I mean, you're going to make some mistakes here and there. I don't expect perfect games out of every player all the time, but like he's been playing well in my opinion. And people who've been kind of putting him on the chopping block, I don't know. He's always been a good defenseman. It's just he needed. I think ever since that Svechnikov hit, he needed to find a way back into that mentality because that had definitely messed him up a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I wasn't. I don't think any defenseman was playing good to start the season, to be honest. But I wasn't too worried about him. But it is nice to see. Like I think that side of his game, the offensive contribution, is where he's really going to make an impact. So when that's going, that's when he's at his best. I don't think you're never going to mistake him for like a true shutdown guy. He's going to be a perfectly serviceable, responsible NHL defenseman. But where he can shine is when he comes through with that contribution on the front end. And he's been doing it a ton. Like the amount of times I've seen him below the dots has been kind of hysterical. But it's almost always impactful, especially as of late. Was it last game where the Marchand goal came as a result of him driving the puck to the net, and then it was like the rebound kind of ricocheted around, but it was.
I believe it was against the Senators. I
yeah, and that was all him. So that goal came as a result of his effort getting the puck down low. But it's like you're just watching a defenseman drive the net. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I agree. But I think that was a good, solid win despite the third period. But again, it's that 60-minute effort, and you hear it harped on a lot of times, right? Like, you need to play a full 60 minutes. You're never going to get a full 60 minutes. Those are hard games or hard things to come by, but you should at least play, I would say, at least 45 solid games where you could say you played a good 60-minute effort. You're not going to get them all the time. Right? People are going to get banged up. There's going to be little nagging injuries here and there. So you got to kind of work past that.
We're looking at a good 35 minutes average right now.
You're generous. I'm giving them less than a period. I'm giving them 50. I've seen solid 15-minute efforts across 3 periods where you just see spurts. And the spurts that you see are great. But on average, I'd say right now you see 15 minutes of play. Because I think the only 2 solid games that they've played all year was the Kraken game and the second game against the Philadelphia Flyers where they won. So that's the only 2 I'm going to give them credit for as of right now. Last night, the Senators, Ullmark's return. I mean, it was a wonderful thing to see him home. It was a 3-2 overtime loss. So the Bruins over the week went 1-1-1. I thought last night was another lost opportunity. You have a struggling Ottawa Senators team. They don't nearly have as much veteran leadership as you do. I wouldn't even say they have much in the way of Stanley Cup pedigree or anything on that team. And their locker rooms, that whole team is basically a dumpster fire the last few years, and you can't come out and beat them. I get it. Ullmark is your former goaltender, and he knows you, right? So he knows the things you're going to try. But
you got to him early.
They got to him early. The biggest problem I had with that entire game was that I felt like they did not even deserve the point. They had 0 shots in the third period.
Which great more than, right? Wasn't it like 24 minutes or something like that? It was over a period without a single shot on net. And you only had 15 to that point anyway.
Yep.
It's like
against this team that is struggling to all hell.
And a goaltender that hasn't even hit the 900 save percentage threshold yet. There's no excuse for it. So you can say everything else. There's no excuse for not getting a single shot on net. That is absurd.
The overtime period where the one good bit that they had was from a pass from, I can't remember, I think it was Zacha to Pasternak, and it was a great save by Ullmark, but he knew where that puck was going. Shoot that fucking thing.
And then it's like, I think, was it Pasta or Lindholm? Anyway, whoever it was that shot it, dropped to a knee to take the shot. Now he's out of position. He can't recover to get back. Got the quick rebound, bounced to Brady Tkachuk, and see you later.
Yep, good
So
shot by Brady though.
Even your one up, yeah. I mean, as much as I hate Matt, I love Brady Tkachuk. I don't want to love him, but I love that guy.
Yeah, it's yeah. But you know, you got to give him credit. I mean, I like him a lot better than his brother.
Yeah, I say at least he'll stand in for the shit that he likes to stir.
Yeah. So not much to be said about the Ottawa game. Disappointing.
Kind of sums up most of the season at this point. Just kind of disappointing. You could just leave it at that.
Yeah, I don't know if disappointment. I don't even know how to describe it. I'm at the point where I'm done with excuses. I don't know where else to go. At 7-7-2, which is kind of concerning because we're in third place in the Atlantic Division, but we're also through, like you mentioned. I think we were talking before this. You had said, yeah, but that's also 3 points away from 7th place. Yep. So what does that necessarily mean?
The team that you coughed up the great opportunity against is only 2 points behind you.
Yep, and with games in hand. So what do you do? Where do you go? What do you like? Your 500 isn't enough. It's not enough. You, especially with the team that supposedly got deeper. And I know fans are probably sick and tired of hearing, the same excuse, same old story, different day. But it starts to beg the question. And so some of the questions I have is, is Monty on the hot seat? Like, is it partly due to him? We know he has a tendency to change the lineup, to change the lines. That doesn't give enough opportunity to build chemistry. So you're messing with a force of nature, I think, at that point. And I don't know. I think you and I and Vogel talked about it. I think he deserves to be in the hot seat as of right now.
I mean, if you're asking my opinion, and this isn't trying to be alarmist or over the top, I wouldn't have him here past Thanksgiving, to be honest. Between the fact that the contract's expiring, 2 back-to-back disappointing exits out of the playoffs, with first one being with a very strong roster. You can make the argument for last year being a bit of an overperformance, but still an exit in the exact same manner, showing no means of adjusting to it. And then a flat start where it seems like the team's just either not responding to what he's asking them to do, or what he's asking them to do doesn't align with the roster that you have. I don't see what other change they can make an impact to stir anything other than that, especially where it seems like there hasn't been any conversation about an extension for him with his contract expiring at the end of the season anyway.
The Bruins have always been historically, quiet on those situations too. They always have been. They don't like to talk about it. They believe that's an internal thing. And I think you're right. Monty has done nothing in the way of showing that he might be worth outside of his seasonal records and his record as a whole. Like, he had a great season, obviously, in 2022, 2023 with that awesome team. The end result was very unfortunate. That year does not exist in my mind. As far as I'm concerned, I'm a year younger. But at least last year, we could say that he showed progress. He did get to the second round, but guess what? They lost to the same opponent. But I think it was the same old story, different day, where I think Paul Maurice I think he outcoached him. They knew how to pound the Bruins in, and they knew that the Bruins defense, and I hate to say it back then, they were soft, and they still are soft. They don't tackle the players like Bennett. They don't tackle the players like Barkov. They're not going after them. They're leaving them so much ice. And what happens when you give a sniper ice? Puck ends up in the back of the net.
Yep. And it seems as though the only changes or adaptations he tries to make is just switching lines around. It seems like there's no change in philosophy, mentality, approach. It's always just lines in a blender, hope something else clicks. And that's been the real kicker for me. It's like, I don't mind if it seems like we're trying different things to have a different approach to solve a problem. It seems like that there isn't really attempts at solving the problem in any meaningful way, especially like in game or in season.
Yeah, I wonder if it's also part of the leadership core. I mean, McAvoy's young. Pasternak is, I mean, he's 20, 28, 27, I think, if I can't I can't remember exactly. And then you have Marchand, who's obviously the oldest in the team right now, and he's a Stanley Cup champion. And so I wonder, Marchand's performing. Anyone who's saying otherwise isn't watching him play. He's being probably the only leader on the ice that I could see. He got off to a bit of a slow start, but he also came off surgeries. But now watching him play over the last few games, he's had 2 points in the last 3. Barring that, and before that he had 3 points. The man is scoring on pace. He's probably going to have
he's
an
definitely
80
looked
point
better.
season. Yeah, so I think he's grounded himself, and you're going to start seeing him perform. But as far as I'm concerned, he's been the only leader on the ice. McAvoy has been atrocious. Pasternak is just not putting it together. He can't put a puck in the back of the net. The team is prioritizing passing it to Pasternak over shooting at the net. But if you actually watched the Seattle Kraken game and the Philadelphia game, you'll actually see that if they had a shot first mentality instead of just trying to be too fancy, that's how they scored that many goals. You score goals because you create chaos and get the defenseman to move. If you can't get the defenseman to move or the goalie to move, you're not tiring them out. You're making it easy for them. It's the same philosophy with the effing power play. They're not passing the puck with urgency. They're just standing there with it, slightly wiggling their hips, just getting their legs moving a little bit, just far enough from the defenseman so they can't poke it away, but you're not challenging them.
So what you're saying about
yeah,
shooting, it's like, what about this roster makes you think that you have the type of roster where you should be thinking quality over quantity? Like, you don't have the horses. You should be taking every look you get. Like, if you have an open lane to shoot, just get pucks to the net. It's like goaltending in the league, across the league, has been pretty tough this year. It's just like, take your chances, get the puck low, hope for a rebound, work it around. Like, the one thing that they have done better, at least some of the lines, has been getting to the net front. But if you're not getting the pucks there when there's bodies there, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't
anyway.
matter.
That's been the big kicker, is just shoot the puck. Like, take the opportunities that you have, because again, it's like Justin Brazeau is not a sniper. Like, you don't have the kind of guy. You have like 2 guys that you should be having kind of get selective with shots. Other than that, everybody else should just be throwing what they can at the net.
Would I trust Brazeau? Like, if he's on a break,
Sure,
I trust him. I trust him to shoot it well. He's an NHL player for sure, but he's a bottom 6 guy. Ceiling is the third line. I don't.
But
think
don't defer looks.
On the second. Yeah, but don't. Yeah, if Brazeau is, if you question whether or not the pass can even get to him, shoot it for a rebound, because he's freaking huge. No one's going to move him as easily as they would, like, a Marchand. Even Marchand, he's tiny, but that's because he's been in the league so long. He knows how to work his body. You're not going to find many small forwards like that. But if you have a guy like Justin Brazeau, he's a bit bigger to move. He's harder to move. And it's like remember when Zdeno Chara used to screen the net? No one was moving him. Yeah. Who's going to freaking move him? Nobody.
And I wasn't trying to shit on Brazeau either. He actually had a pretty good week. I mean, the Marchand's goal off the Lindholm rush was a cross feed from Brazeau. He had the goal. Was it the Calgary game? He had the nice goal. So he's been playing well, even being pressed into a position he probably shouldn't be in.
But you're right. You're not wrong.
Again, it's like.
But you're not wrong. You're not wrong to say that, like, he's not a guy you defer to. Yeah. Check your balances. Like, Brazeau's not a guy I would cross the puck to across the ice for like a wicked shot past the goalie. But he is a guy that I would cause a rebound for, who's going to be difficult to move. Because then that means the defender needs to play the puck, and then if the stick gets in his legs, he just got a call for you. Like, that's smarter hockey to me.
And he has good hands down low too.
He does. He's quick. He's quick, but that's his role, and he knows his role. He's a smart man. I like guys who know their roles. You know what I mean? I do. I love guys who know their roles.
Like me.
Like you. You know your role. You're here. You're happy to be here.
Yeah.
Vogel's not here, so fuck that guy. But like, when he watches this back, I'm gonna get a mean text message. He goes, "Oh, fuck me, huh?" Like, so.
Yeah.
There's just too much to critique, because they'll have moments where you're just like, "Wow, they got better," and looks like a lot of problems are getting solved. But is it consistent? Because as soon as I saw, like, again, I'm going to draw back to the Philadelphia and Kraken games. Those were their 2 best games. I'm like, wow, this is good. Let's see if it's consistent. And then right when it hits Toronto, I'm like, and we're back in the shitter. I'm just like,
yeah, and especially it's the exact same type of bad. You know what I mean? So it's just like, It'd be different if it was like, we just got beat by Toronto. They were just fired. And it's like, no, you beat yourselves again in the same way that you've done all season, taking stupid penalties for no reason, sloppy defense. Like I hate the repetitiveness. That's what kills me. It's like, it wouldn't even matter if the record was the record, but it looked like things were shifting and changing and losing in different ways because you're trying different things. It's like, no, it's the same ugly, passionless, lackluster nonsense that it's been from the start.
Now, I don't know if you'll agree with me on this, but you can play a really good game and still lose that game. You could just say, like, the better team won.
Yeah, for sure.
There are definitely games where I feel like, okay, fine. You played them hard. You played them strong. They just got the better of you. That's fine. I think for almost every single loss, I can't even think of a loss that they had where I can't just look at it and say, you didn't do it because you didn't even play them well. I can't even say in confidence that all like 7 out of the 7 of their losses and like the 2 OT losses, I can't say, actually, I think except for I can't remember if Philly was no, it was not an OT. I can't remember. I think maybe it was one of the OT games. It was not against Ottawa, where I felt like they actually played a decent game, but it just kind of fell apart. I can't remember exactly where it was. But it's difficult for this team because you just see them just fumble the bag, and it's the penalties, man. The penalties. And I just can't get past it. The undisciplined play. If you're taking 3 penalties a freaking period, the experts tell you you're going to lose that game. No, because you're tired. The power play is bound to break through. The opposing power play would be bound to break through eventually, right? So, and if you're tired, unless you get 3 penalties pretty much right in a row, which they have done, you got to see a goal coming against you because your guys are going to be tired, man.
And it's that much less time that you're on the offensive. So it's just like subtract that out of the potential time that you can generate offense. And I think this has got to be one of their lower rates for the last probably 5 to 10 years. I think the penalty kills at like 75%. They're like towards the bottom of the pack, which is very out of character for this organization.
Boston has historically been known for good penalty killing, building out from the goaltender up or their defense up, one of the two. They never have really built from offense down. That's never been their philosophy that I could remember as being a Bruins fan. Maybe once or twice in the history, but I think ultimately they've always believed in a strong defense. I mean, look at Claude Julien's reign here. He believed in winning games 1-0. 100-point seasons, he said those don't exist, like, for players. But it's just frustrating to watch it. And so we're going to switch things up this week. And as everyone knows who listens, we do the bear down player, which is the player who needs to step up and improve. We normally do that last, but actually we're going to switch it up and we're going to try and end things on a high note tonight and move the big bad Bruin of the week towards after that. So we're going to start with the bear down player. Higgy, why don't you take us off with who your bear down player is? And this is the player that needs to improve the most.
I got Trent Frederick. I also got a missing persons alert out for him. Has anybody seen this guy? I think the last 3 games this past week, he's averaging like 11 minutes a night, got himself demoted to the 4th line. He's in a contract year. He's supposed to be, or at least he was talked about as being a guy that could potentially be a middle, if not top 6 wing for you. And he just hasn't taken any sort of a step, and he'll just go completely invisible for huge swaths of time. It's like, find a way to make an impact. I don't care what it is. If you're not on the score sheet, that's fine. He's got 3 points on the year, minus 11. But find a way to make an impact, and he's not. He's completely invisible.
They're misusing him. He was scoring last year. He had a career year last year. I think, if not, it was the year before that. Well, everyone had a career year the year before that. But I think they're misusing him.
I think it was last year for him, I believe.
Yeah, and so to Geeky and Pot. So that's the thing. Last year is Geeky, Potter, Trent Frederick. They were lighting it up. They were having good things. So what changed? Nothing. In theory, nothing should have changed. So there had to have been a coaching philosophy. There has to have been something on the coaching end that has changed. Yeah, I think they're misusing him. I think they're saying, like, you need to be out there and protect the puck. They don't have Nick Foligno anymore who does that. But you have a guy like Justin Brazeau. You have Cole Koepke who will probably toss it. You have Beecher who isn't the biggest guy, but like I'm sure he wouldn't be afraid to throw.
You got Kastelik. You got Zadorov, who's supposed to be that guy, and he hasn't
Oh,
at all. It's like if any,
I can tell you the kind of guy he is. He's the kind of guy that likes to spend time in the sin bin. That's who he is. Fucking loser. I can't with him. What a wonderful acquisition and waste of $5 million that has been.
I was very afraid when they announced that signing that this is what we were getting ourselves into. And I hope that it doesn't remain true. I'm hoping it's just a bit of teething, getting used to the system. But I haven't seen much of anything out of him that I liked. I know he's a big body, can hit, can shoot, but if you're not on the ice when it matters, then like you're taking yourself out of the equation. You're hurting the team frequently. Is he still leading the league in penalties?
I think so.
I feel like Tanner Jeannot's probably running it up there with his majors that he's taken. But
I think out of the top 10 people leading the league in penalties in terms of like personnel, it's 3 Bruins. 3 Bruins make up that top 10.
So is that who's your bear down?
Oh, it's Zadorov.
I figured.
I think paying that man $5 million and watching I'm at the point where I'm almost missing Grzelcyk, where I'm watching him just put the Bruins consistently a man down, and he was at a point where he was averaging a penalty per game, which I'm just like, okay, good. So he guarantees you a penalty per game. So what does that mean for everybody else? What if other players are going to get penalized? And we've seen it with the Bruins. They're the most penalized team. So I'm like, good. So we've been crushing the league average, which is like 4 penalties per game, right? That's the league average. And I'm just like, we're getting 6, 7, greater than 4. Most of them are from Nikita Zadorov.
I think.
Yep. Because why the fuck not? Why not? It's a beach house. That's what it is. A great view of the hockey game. Fans would kill for that seat.
He's a little tired. He's got to take a load off, A
little. I'm tired of the amount of money he's making. I think the fact he's making $5 million, and I see like, we let go some like a Grzelcyk, and he's making only like 4 and a quarter. I can't remember exactly what he's making in Pittsburgh. I'm just like, I'm missing him because he was cheaper. That's really it.
As I texted you and Matt the other day, so you're not missing Connor Clifton.
Where would you put him? You're not going to play him with Carlo.
He'd probably be better than Zadorov.
But don't get me wrong, Connor Clifton is a great third pairing guy.
He's basically he's Wotherspoon. Yeah, he's Wotherspoon.
Yeah, he's a great third pairing guy. No, I agree with you 100%. He's a great third pairing guy, but Nikita Zadorov, who was a really good defenseman in Vancouver, is just eating it here in Boston. He's just absolutely just eating it. I don't know what his issue is. I think
we gotta, any Flames or Canucks or Avalanche fans, I'd like to give them a call because I think they would tell you that what we're getting is what you got.
Probably. Well, we knew it was going to be an issue, but I can't go on it anymore. So those are the bear down players of the week. That's what they need to step up. Step up, fucking Zadorov, if you're listening to me. God damn, stop taking so many stupid penalties.
You bum.
You bum. I bet you he waxes his eyebrows. You bum. Oh god! All right, loser. If we ever get him on here, I feel like I'm gonna have to deal with his like thick Russian accent, and he's just gonna like yell at me, and I'm gonna be like, I'm intimidated by you.
He'd smack the shit out of both of us.
That's fine. I'll take it. I understand that, so I'll take the beating, and I hope he gets better, but I can't. I'm just sucking up to guys who doesn't kick my ass. The big bad Bruin. The big bad Bruin. And you know what? I'm calling this week, who I don't care who it is. It's the big bad Cub because they're not playing like Bruins. They're playing like little teddy bears, but we have to name it. Nonetheless, positive vibes only. I got Pavel Zacha, 2 goals, 1 assist, starting to show who he is or who he could be because he's only 26 years old. I kind of liked his game this week.
I also got Pavel Zacha. The Montgomery blunder after the Toronto Maple Leafs game had Zacha finding himself back at playing center in the 2 games since playing center. He's got 2 goals and an assist. Both of the goals were big boy goals too. They weren't garbage time. He had the bouncing puck out front, and I think in the Calgary game that he had to settle down and roof for a sweet one, and then he had maybe I had it backwards. I don't know. But then the other one was received the puck pass in the slot. had to settle it down, spun to protect the puck, spun off the defenseman, and then roofed it, or at least beat, I think it was Omar, glove side on the backhand. So it was two big boy goals. So it's kind of nice to see him wake up. So maybe he feels more comfortable playing center. Maybe he knows the role better. Maybe he knows what's expected of him, where he's supposed to be, and just feels more confident in playing the pivot.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, he was easy. It was either between. I gotta be honest. It was either between him or Marchand, and I had to give it to Zacha because he stepped up. He stepped up big. Again, this was barring the Toronto game, so you gotta give the guy credit.
Yeah. That was like a oopsie.
Yeah. Cool, man. No, I'm glad we don't even have the goal horn. We don't even have the goal horn. We swept the board between the two of us, and Vogel's not here to give us the goal horn. What a sad day today is. Yeah, no, I mean, he deserved it, man. I mean, I couldn't sing Zacha's praises enough last night. I think when he scored last night, I got like really excited. I was like, wow, what a good goal. So, it's good to see him get going. I think he needed to get going, and, maybe we keep him at center and, find the line that works with him. You got to keep him and Pasternak together. They just seem to gel. I don't know, maybe change the philosophy a bit. Montgomery, you're in the hot seat for me. The week ahead, we have on Tuesday where we had 2 away games. So Tuesday, Thursday are away. We play St. Louis on Tuesday, Dallas on Thursday, and we're back home to play St. Louis on that Saturday, the 16th. So the 12th, the 14th, and the 16th we have games. St. Louis, Higgy, win or loss for Tuesday.
I'm gonna go win just because I want to find joy in life.
It's a team we should be.
I don't have any real analytical reasons to think that we should come out firing, but I need to win.
We should beat this team. Yes.
Yes.
I'm also gonna say win.
Believe is it Thomas went down, right? Rob Thomas is out for a while, I think.
Then never mind. St. Louis might win that game because we just have a problem closing out games where superstars are
just
out
because,
or their players are out. Just because we feel bad and they need points. No, I have St. Louis as a win, at least the away game. I think it's a team that they should beat. They're up and they're down, and they should beat them. Dallas.
I'm gonna take the L there.
It's very fair. I'm going to take the L. That is a team that is, yeah. That's a team that's played well. I mean, I thought we played against them well when we first met them, and then again, the floodgates just opened and they just couldn't handle it. Opened well and just played them.
Team that doesn't like to shoot, playing against one of the better goalies in hockey is not exactly a good matchup.
Nope, I don't think so either. Well, that's the thing. They played against Casey DeSmith the last game, and so they made him look like a Vezina Trophy winner too. So, I mean, it's likely going to be Ottinger in net on Thursday. So that's going to be interesting to see. We're probably going to get shut out, and I can't wait to see it. Okay, cool. So you and I are both 1-1 right now. Saturday, St. Louis. I'm going to go with a win.
Me too. And my only rationale on this one is that they do seem to play a bit better at home.
Seemingly.
So I don't know. I'm gonna hope the home cooking will get them a solid 36.5 minutes of hockey.
6.5 minutes. Yeah, that's boy. Oh man. Geez, yeah. I think it should be, again, it's a matinee game. I mean, I'm hoping. I mean, St. Louis is struggling. They need to kind of get it together. So it's I just can't even think about it. I don't even.
Is it me or we played a crazy amount of matinees already?
It's annoying. Matinee games should not exist. Someone called the NHL.
Yeah,
let it be known. Let it be known. Let it be known. Kyle and I
are holidays only. You only get holidays.
We'll give you holidays. Fine.
I got stuff to do, man.
Yeah, I got something. I got work. I got people. My dog needs to go out at 1 p.m. We can't be doing this. This is some bullshit. So make it 7 o'clock. Stop being losers. All right. Cool. Hey, thanks. Yeah. Got grass to touch. Yeah, we got things to do. Higgy, thanks as always for joining, man. We always value you here. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this night's episode of the Black and Mild. Don't forget to check out our new website, HiBruiNation.com, for our blogs and where you can catch our podcast and associate with Don't Puck with Media. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. HiBruiNation is always ready to receive your fan mail or hate mail. Depends on how you feel about us. You can always submit something through our website. And also don't forget to check out our other website for our parent company, Don't Puck with Media, at don'tpuckwithmedia.com. And as always, we love you guys. And until next time, go Bruins.